What if I told you that some of the ideas that still govern our society, democracy, justice, truth, education, come from a man who lived more than 2,400 years ago? A man who never wrote under his own name, yet whose words still influence philosophy, science, religion, and politics. That man is Plato. A privileged but troubled youth, Plato was born around 427 BCE in Athens into a noble and influential family. From a young age, he was trained in the highest disciplines: poetry, music, gymnastics, mathematics, and politics. At first, he aimed for a political career, as was expected of his class. But one meeting changed everything. The life-changing encounter with Socrates, Plato met Socrates, a marginal philosopher who roamed the streets of Athens, asking deep and uncomfortable questions. Socrates claimed to know nothing. He pushed others to think for themselves and question their beliefs. Plato became his disciple. But in 399 BCE, Socrates was sentenced to death by the Athenian democracy for corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods. The trial deeply shocked Plato. He lost faith in democracy, but not in the pursuit of truth and justice. A monumental body of work in dialogues Plato began to write. But unlike other thinkers, he didn't write dry treatises. He wrote dialogues. These featured Socrates as the main character, discussing with others, confronting ideas, and seeking truth. His texts tackled love, justice, power, knowledge, the soul's immortality. This style makes his philosophy vivid and accessible, even today. The visible world and the world of ideas. Plato proposed a striking vision of reality. There are two levels of existence. The sensible world, which we perceive through our senses. It is imperfect, changing, and deceptive. The world of ideas or forms, which is invisible, eternal, and perfect. For example, every chair you see is different, but they all refer to the perfect idea of a chair. The philosopher's role is to look beyond appearances and reach this deeper world of truth. The allegory of the cave, Plato's most famous metaphor, is the allegory of the cave. Imagine prisoners chained inside a cave, seeing only shadows cast on a wall. For them, these shadows are reality. One day, one of them breaks free, exits the cave, and discovers the real world, lit by the sun. He realizes everything he believed was an illusion. This story is a metaphor for us. We live in illusion, trapped by beliefs and senses. The philosopher is the one who escapes and sees the truth, and who tries to return to free the others. But just like Socrates, truth-bearers are often rejected. The Academy, a place to think freely. Around 387 BCE, Plato founded the Academy in Athens, one of the very first institutions of higher learning. Its mission, to train minds in philosophy, logic, mathematics, and political theory. Among its students was Aristotle, who would later become a towering thinker himself. The Academy lasted over 900 years, long after Plato's death. That's remarkable. The Republic, a radical political vision. In his most famous work, The Republic, Plato imagines an ideal city. He believed Athenian democracy was flawed. It gave power to those who could speak well, not to those who could think well. His solution? A society ruled by philosopher kings. Rulers trained in wisdom, truth, and the good. It may sound elitist, even utopian. But his key idea was, power should not belong to those who desire it, but to those who are morally and intellectually prepared to wield it. Plato and the immortal soul. Plato believed the soul is immortal. Before birth, it lived in the world of ideas. When born into a body, it forgets everything, but can remember through philosophy. He called this recollection. Learning is not discovering something new, but remembering what the soul once knew. His influence today, Plato's influence, is vast. In philosophy, he laid the foundation of Western metaphysics. In politics, his critiques of democracy are still relevant. In education, his academy inspired modern universities. In religion, his views on the soul and the good shaped Christian thought. Even scientists refer to Platonism when they speak of eternal truths or mathematical realities. In summary, Plato is more than a name from schoolbooks. He's a radical, visionary thinker who taught us that reality is deeper than what we see, that truth is a lifelong quest, and that knowledge is the only path to freedom. Engaging conclusion. So, do you think what you see is truly real? Or are you still in the cave watching shadows? Tell us in the comments. And if you want more videos about the great minds of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.